Hi, we're here with Padraic and Maille at Enterprising Donegal Business Week 2011. Padraic, the theme of today's workshop is starting your business in 2011. Could you tell us about some of the main points you'll be making during today's workshop?
Sure, Michael. I'd like to think that we're going to share one mindset and 6 strategies today that's going to enable anybody who wants to set up in business get off to a flying start. And I suppose the word or the concept, it arrived from one of your speakers earlier this week, a man called Padraic. I've known Padraic for many years, and on the 16th of January this year I was given a talk with Padraic to a large conference in Galway, and just before the talk I was asking him, how did he come through last year? A very challenging year last year. Everything went against the guy, and yet he managed to come through in flying colours. And I said, what was the one thing? And he took a deep breath, and we were speaking Irish, and he responded to me, looked me straight in the eye, and he said, "Smacht foilia." And smacht foilia is a great Connemara word. Smacht would be the word for discipline or manners or control. And I began to think about it, and all the really good business people I would have seen develop over the years, they would have had great discipline in a few key areas. And immediately after speaking with Padraic, I literally put a course together with him, and we talked about the power of discipline. That if you really want to succeed in business, if you can cultivate discipline in certain key areas, well, then it's going to accelerate your growth hugely. Now, those areas, Michael, SMART, while it's also a word for discipline, it's also an acronym for 6 areas. And the S stands for setting goals. And every single business person who makes it good, or in any walk of life for that matter, they have set clear, accurate, exciting goals. I think it's very important you begin the process of business inside in your own head. Not about hard work, it's about simply getting clear what sort of a business do you want. And I'll give you examples. When I met with Padraic first, he had a goal that Air Aran would be amongst the top 100 regional airlines in the world within 5 years. I thought it was crazy. Within 3 years, he was number 36 in the world. That's an example of a clear goal, yeah? Pat McDonough, the Supermax franchises, yeah? Pat was a school teacher when I knew him first. And yet he had an idea to have 2 shops. And then that grew to 10 shops. And then it grew to 50 shops. And then the vision became 100 shops, and we said you can never reach it. December 2010, Pat opened his 100th outlet. That is the power of setting goals, Michael. The second one is M, and it's crucial. Many people actually will set goals, but they will not measure weekly. Now, I'm a great fan, believe it or not, of Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers works because if you want to lose weight, it'll help you do that. And they'll bring you along, they'll give you the rah-rah, they'll give you the points, they'll tell you about what foods to eat. But ultimately what they do, they get you to step up on the scales every single week. And that achieves what we call in Connemara fragrach. That means accountability for results. And if you just measure key result areas weekly, you've got a far better chance of succeeding. The A in SMART, it stands for attitude. And we consistently say that attitude is more important than fact. If you can sustain a good, positive mental attitude, you're just far more likely to succeed. It's like a magnet. A magnet that is magnetized can lift 12 times more than a magnet that's misaligned. The exact same goes for your mind and your attitude. If it's aligned and if it's on fire, then you're just going to attract business. The C stands for connect. And I think there's a big difference. There's a lot of talk in business today, Michael, about communication. Now, the reality is we all communicate, but few of us actually connect. The really good business people, they connect. There's a difference. What are you doing to actually connect with your customers? Most people get a business card and a brochure and they wait for the business to come in. The really, really, really good people, they get out to people. And whether it's one-to-one, face-to-face, the old traditional selling as we called it, or whether it's doing what you're doing with me at the moment with a simple €90 iFlip, that €90 iFlip has the potential to reach millions worldwide if people can connect adequately. So that's what we mean by C for connecting. And they're very simple techniques that you can do that better. The H is for have a dream team board of directors. I always remember Padraic O'Cage saying to me years ago, he said, you know, Padraic, you need to get a board of directors for your business. I was a one-man show at a tiny business, and I said, what do you mean a board of directors? I can't afford those. And he said, everyone in business should have a board of directors. Now, he wasn't talking about paying huge money or directors' fees for directors. He was talking about getting a small dream team of people who can help inspire you, who can guide you, who can probably challenge you when the need is there to challenge, and who can probably make invaluable contacts. So I would suggest before you ever get out on the road to business, get a number of people around you who will uplift you. And you know what? You needn't even know those people. A lot of the people I would have been used over the years, people I'd never met, people like Clinton in terms of connecting, people like Mandela in terms of attitude. People like that, you don't even have to know them, but just by being aware of them can help influence you. And finally, the final letter in the SMART anagram, Michael, is T for time. You know, time is life. There's no doubt about it. I look at the likes of a Pat McDonough, and I look at the likes of many people like myself who are running one business, and they're up to their eyes. They're complaining that they have no time to do marketing, they have no time to sell, they have no time for their family, they have no time for themselves. You know, Pat McDonough runs 100 shops, probably 30 pubs, and yet he's time to go to hurling matches every weekend. He will ring you back if you ring him, and he'll have the crack with you, and he's just got time for everybody. Now, don't tell me that Pat's got more than 24 hours in the day. He's got the exact same as the rest of us. The key issue is to look at time and how we can use time really well. So, in conclusion, Michael, if I was to give you one word for new business people to help get them off to a flying start, I would say SMART. One, it stands for discipline. If you want to get into business, you need discipline to work on certain key areas. I didn't say hard work, okay? Scott Peck, the famous writer, once said, he said, you know, without discipline, you'll solve no problems. With some discipline, you'll solve certain problems. But with total discipline, you'll solve all problems. Another great writer, Jim Rohn, said, failure is a few errors practiced daily. Success is a few simple disciplines practiced daily. Those 6 disciplines I would suggest are: S is for setting goals, M is to measure weekly, A is for your attitude. Attitude is everything. C is connect rather than communicate. H is have a dream team board of directors. And T is for time. All you need is SMART, Michael.
Thanks very much, Padraic. Thank you.